First, we have the M1903 Springfield. Its manually operated front-locking bolt fed cartridges from a 5-round internal magazine. Adopted in 1903, it fired the powerful caliber .30-06 Springfield cartridge. Although the M1 Garand replaced it as the primary American service rifle, the M1903 still fought during the early Pacific campaigns. Apparently, declaring a rifle obsolete does not immediately make every available example disappear. Next, we have the M1903A3 Springfield. It retained the 5-round action and caliber .30-06 chambering, but introduced a receiver-mounted aperture sight and more stamped components. Production began in 1942 as the United States rapidly expanded its armed forces. The simplified construction increased manufacturing speed without changing the rifle's basic performance. It served in training, guard units, overseas formations, and specialist roles, while Garand production caught up with wartime demand. Let us continue with the M1903A4 sniper rifle. It was a selected M1903A3 fitted with a telescopic sight and a turned-down bolt handle. The rifle held 5 caliber .30-06 cartridges, but its centrally mounted scope prevented normal loading with a 5-round clip. Standardized in 1943, it became the United States Army's principal purpose-built sniper rifle during much of World War II. Each cartridge had to be loaded individually because accuracy apparently made reloading slightly less convenient. Moving on to the M1917 Enfield. Its strong front-locking action cocked as the bolt closed and used a protected receiver-mounted aperture sight. The internal magazine could hold 6 caliber .30-06 cartridges, although standard 5-round clips were used for rapid loading. It had armed more American soldiers than the M1903 during the First World War. During World War II, surviving rifles served in training, guard duties, foreign aid, and British Home Guard service. We have the short magazine Lee-Enfield No. 1 Mark III Star. Its rear-locking, cock-on-closing action operated with a short and unusually smooth bolt movement. The detachable magazine held 10.303 British cartridges and was normally reloaded with 2 5-round chargers. The simplified Mark III Star pattern had been introduced during the First World War, but remained a major Commonwealth rifle in World War II. In experienced hands, 10 rounds and a fast action produced a rate of fire that could be deeply unpleasant for anyone approaching from the wrong direction. Next, we have the Lee-Enfield No. 4 Mark I. It retained the 10-round magazine and fast Lee action while adding a heavier barrel and receiver-mounted aperture sight. The rifle fired the same .306 British cartridge as the earlier short magazine Lee-Enfield. Officially adopted before the war, it entered mass production during the early 1940s. It became the principal British and Canadian service rifle across Europe, North Africa, and Asia. Let us continue with the Lee-Enfield No. 4 Mark I T. Selected No. 4 rifles were tested for accuracy, fitted with a wooden cheek rest, and paired with the 3.5 power No. 32 telescopic sight. The rifle retained its 10-round .303 British magazine. Most conversions were completed by Holland & Holland under wartime contracts. The result was one of the most respected sniper systems of World War II and remained in British service long after the conflict. Moving on to the Lee-Enfield No. 5 Mark I. It shortened and lightened the No. 4 action and added a conical flash suppressor with a rubber butt pad. Its magazine still held 10.303 British cartridges. Production began in 1944, and the rifle reached troops in Southeast Asia near the end of the war. It was easier to carry through dense terrain, although its reduced weight ensured the shooter received a more personal introduction to recoil.
Next, we have the pattern 1914 Enfield. Its Mauser-influenced front-locking action cocked on closing and fed from a 5-round internal magazine. It fired the .303 British cartridge and used a protected aperture sight mounted near the shooter's eye. The rifle was extremely accurate, but too heavy and complicated to replace the Lee-Enfield. During World War II, it served with the Home Guard, in secondary units, and in limited sniper roles. We have the Mosin-Nagant M1991/30. Its rotating bolt fed 5 7.72 by 54 mm rimmed cartridges from an internal magazine. Standardized in 1930, it shortened and simplified the older Imperial Russian M1891 rifle. It became the Soviet infantryman's principal bolt-action rifle during World War II. It was long, rugged, powerful, and manufactured in enormous numbers, which covered most of the qualities the Red Army urgently required. Next, we have the Mosin-Nagant M1891/30 sniper rifle. Selected rifles received improved finishing, a bent bolt handle, and either an earlier PE pattern or later 3.5 power PU telescopic sight. The internal magazine retained its 5-round 7.72 by 54 mm rimmed capacity. The compact PU system entered widespread production during 1942. These rifles became particularly important during urban battles, where a carefully concealed marksman could control streets, windows, and ruined buildings. Let us continue with the Mosin-Nagant M1938 carbine. It shortened the standard Mosin action and barrel while removing the permanent socket bayonet arrangement of the full-length rifle. It still held 5 7.72 by 54 mm rimmed cartridges. Adopted in 1938, it was intended for cavalry, artillerymen, engineers, and troops who needed a more compact weapon. Its shorter barrel improved handling, while also producing enough muzzle blast to make its presence known to the entire neighborhood. We have the Gewehr 98. Its controlled feed action used 2 forward locking lugs, a 3rd safety lug, and a 5-round internal magazine. It fired the 7.92 by 57 mm Mauser cartridge. The rifle had been Germany's standard weapon during the First World War and was extremely long by World War II standards. Surviving examples still appeared with training formations, security units, reserve troops, and late war emergency forces. Next, we have the Karabiner 198K. It used the proven Mauser 98 controlled feed bolt with a 5-round internal magazine loaded from a charger. Adopted in 1935, it fired the 7.92 by 57 mm Mauser cartridge. It became the standard German service rifle throughout World War II. The weapon was strong, accurate, and reliable, although its 5-round capacity looked increasingly traditional besides self-loading rifles. Let us continue with the Gewehr 33/40. This compact Mauser action rifle was developed from the Czechoslovakian VZ-33 and incorporated features intended for mountain service. It held 5 7.92 by 57 mm cartridges and included additional reinforcement around the stock. German production began in occupied Czechoslovakia during 1940. It was issued especially to mountain troops who valued a shorter rifle while climbing through terrain already difficult enough without carrying a full-length Gewehr 98. We have the Carcano Modello 1891. Its turn-bolt action used a 6-round N-block clip that remained inside the magazine until the final cartridge was chambered. The rifle fired the 6.5 by 52 mm Carcano cartridge. Adopted in 1891, the full-length rifle remained in Italian service throughout World War II. It was old but functional, and Italy possessed neither the time nor the ammunition reserves required to replace every example. Next, we have the Carcano Modello 1938. It was a shorter rifle using the familiar 6-round Carcano clip, but chambered for the newer 7.35 by 51 mm cartridge. Its rear sight was fixed for a practical combat distance rather than fitted with a complicated adjustable ladder. Italy adopted the new rifle and cartridge in 1938. The conversion was abandoned as war approached because changing an entire army's ammunition supply immediately before a major conflict was, on reflection, inconvenient. Let us continue with the Carcano Modello 1891-38. It retained the compact Model 1938 format but returned to the established 6.5 by 52 mm cartridge. Its internal magazine accepted the standard 6-round en-bloc clip. Production followed Italy's decision to abandon large-scale conversion to 7.35 mm ammunition. The rifle gave troops a handier weapon without creating another ammunition problem for an army that already had several. Moving on to the Carcano Modello 1891-41. It was a new long rifle version chambered for the standard 6.5 by 52 mm cartridge. The action held 6 rounds in the usual Carcano en-bloc clip and used an adjustable rear sight. Production began during 1941 as Italy attempted to standardize and expand rifle supply. It offered a longer sight radius and barrel than the short model 1891-38 while remaining compatible with existing ammunition. We have the Arisaka Type 38 rifle. Its Mauser-influenced cock-on-closing bolt used a 5-round internal magazine and a large rotating safety at the rear. Adopted in 1905, it fired the mild recoiling 6.5 by 50 mm semi-rimmed cartridge. The rifle was exceptionally long but strongly constructed. It remained in frontline Japanese service throughout World War II because Type 99 production never completely replaced it. Next, we have the Arisaka Type 44 carbine. It shortened the Type 38 system and added a permanently mounted folding spike bayonet beneath the barrel. The magazine held 5 6.5 by 50 mm semi-rimmed cartridges. Adopted in 1911, it was originally intended for cavalry. During World War II, its compact length made it useful to mounted troops, transport units, and soldiers operating in confined terrain. Let us continue with the Arisaka Type 97 sniper rifle. It was based on the Type 38 action and used an offset 2.5 power telescopic sight. The offset mounting allowed the 5-round magazine to remain accessible for charger loading. Adopted in 1937, it fired the 6.5 by 50 mm semi-rimmed cartridge. That cartridge produced relatively modest flash and recoil, useful qualities for a concealed marksman trying not to announce his position. Moving on to the Arisaka Type 99 rifle. It used a 5-round cock-on-closing action chambered for the more powerful 7.7 by 58 mm cartridge. Early examples could include a monopod, a dust cover, and folding anti-aircraft sight wings. Production began in 1939 and continued until Japan's surrender. As manufacturing conditions deteriorated, later rifles lost many non-essential features, proving that factory elegance tends to disappear when enemy bombers become regular visitors. Next, we have the Arisaka Type 99 sniper rifle. It paired selected 7.7 mm rifles with an offset telescopic sight, commonly in 2.5 power or 4 power form. Its 5-round internal magazine could still be loaded from above. Production began during the middle years of World War II. The stronger cartridge offered greater striking power than the Type 97, although Japanese sniper rifles remained comparatively scarce. We have the Lebel 1886-93.
Its bolt action fed from an 8-round tubular magazine running beneath the barrel. With one cartridge in the carrier and another in the chamber, the rifle could contain as many as 10 rounds of 8 by 50 mm Lebel rimmed ammunition. The original 1886 had introduced smokeless powder rifle ammunition to a major military power. By 1940, it was badly outdated, but still equipped reserve troops, colonial forces, and units created faster than modern rifles could be supplied. Next, we have the Berthier 1907-15 M16. Its Mannlicher-style magazine accepted a 5-round N-block clip, improving upon earlier 3-round Berthier designs. It fired the same 8 by 50 mm rimmed Lebel cartridge as the older French rifle. Large numbers remained available when Germany invaded France in 1940. The weapon was easier to load and handle than the Lebel, although 5 rounds had become a fairly modest contribution to modern infantry firepower.
Let us continue with the MAS-36. Its compact bolt used rear locking lugs, a sharply angled bolt handle, and a 5-round internal magazine. It fired the modern 7.5 by 54 mm French cartridge and carried a cruciform bayonet stored beneath the barrel. Adopted in 1936, it was designed as a simple and durable rifle for mass production. France had not produced enough by 1940, forcing the Army to fight with the MAS-36 beside much older Lebel and Berthier rifles. We have the Karabiner Model 98A. It was a Polish-produced long rifle based on the Mauser 98 controlled feed action. Its internal magazine held 5 7.92 by 57 mm Mauser cartridges. Production of the improved pattern began during the late 1930s. It armed Polish troops during the German and Soviet invasions of 1939, when solid rifle design could not compensate for attacks arriving from 2 directions. Next, we have the Karabiner Model 29. It shortened the Mauser pattern service rifle while retaining a 5-round controlled feed action. The rifle fired the 7.92 by 57 mm Mauser cartridge and entered Polish service around 1929. It became one of Poland's principal infantry rifles before World War II. Captured examples were later reissued by German forces under a German foreign equipment designation. We have the Finnish Mosin-Nagant M27. It reused Russian Mosin receivers, but added a new barrel, improved sights, and stronger furniture around the nose of the stock. The magazine held 5 Finnish 7.62 by 53 mm rimmed cartridges. Adopted in 1927, it became an important Finnish army rifle. The protected front sight earned it a nickname referring to the pointed ears of a Finnish Spitz dog, because soldiers will eventually give everything a nickname. Next, we have the Finnish Mosin-Nagant M2830. It refined the earlier Civil Guard M28 with an improved barrel, carefully designed sights, and better bedding of the action. Its internal magazine held 5 7.62 by 53 mm rimmed cartridges. The pattern entered service during the early 1930s and earned a strong reputation for accuracy. It became closely associated with Finnish marksmanship during the Winter War. Let us continue with the Finnish Mosin-Nagant M39. It combined a heavier barrel, improved sights, a stronger stock, and a semi-pistol grip wrist around a reused Mosin receiver. The rifle held 5 7.62 by 53 mm rimmed cartridges. Although adopted in 1939, substantial production came too late for meaningful service during the Winter War. It became far more important during the Continuation War and is often considered the most refined military version of the Mosin system. We have the Mauser VZ-24. It was a shortened Mauser 98 pattern rifle with a controlled feed bolt and a 5-round internal magazine. Most military examples fired the 7.92 by 57 mm Mauser cartridge. Adopted during the 1920s, it became Czechoslovakia's standard service rifle and a major export success. After the German occupation, captured rifles and continued factory production supplied German, Romanian, and other Axis forces.
Finally, we have the Mauser VZ-33. It was a compact, lightweight Mauser-action carbine developed primarily for Czechoslovakian gendarmerie and financial guard units. Its internal magazine held 5 7.92 by 57 mm cartridges. The design entered service during the early 1930s. After Germany occupied Czechoslovakia, its basic form was modified into the Gewehr 3340 for German mountain troops. These rifles came from different decades, doctrines, and industrial systems. Some were modern in 1939, while others had already survived one world war. But from Finland's forests to the Pacific Islands, the bolt-action rifle remained one of the defining infantry weapons of World War II.